Donington. Then we've got $2.5 million going to tennis courts. We've got $1.7 million going to the pavilion improvements for cricket and lacrosse. We've also got $1.7 million going to landscaping. These are good things for the community. And this council's in a very strong financial position. We're running surpluses in the $40 million range. We can afford this. This is a prudently run, sensible council. We also have a future fund of over $23 million to cover contingencies if required. We get sign-off by the Auditor General every year, unqualified audits. And this report points to the fact that we're going to deliver a stadium. We need to deliver it at Percy Travai because there's nowhere else in this city. And land prices aren't any cheaper in the city of Richmond, I can tell you. So I conclude.
Provisions are already full. We've already got our girls ready to go for when those refurbishments occur. So that is not an option. The other site that's always being raised is Orang Romanus, yet doesn't this council remember that we did a review into Orang Romanus? Okay, not as detailed as this one, but enough to know that the land at Orang Romanus is so contaminated it would cost in the millions to remediate. And not only that, Mr. Mayor, we would have to build a double-storey facility just to provide for. In taking all of this into account, we are looking in about $50 million, but we don't really know because once we start digging, we don't know what we're going to find. And I know there's a yellow before us tonight that says we could build it at Orang Romanus without parking because it's so well serviced by public transport. Well, that is just so unfeasible, and it's not what our girls are asking for. And just to clarify, we did contamination testing. We know what's there, and it's not worth digging it up, Mr. Mayor. And that say parks are for people, not stadiums. We're not building it on the park. We're building it where there are current buildings already there. It's not going on the park. Mr. Mayor, if the crowd would like me to have extra time, I'll ask for an extra 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Are you seeking extra 5 minutes, or what are you seeking?
I'll seek 3. 3
minutes. Can I seek a seconder for that? Yes, Councillor Coase. Thank you, Councillor Passari.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
3 minutes.
I would just like to highlight some of the issues that I have found along this journey which have really troubled me to see what this community has been doing in some ways. There was a petition being taken around at Chadstone Shopping Centre last week, Mr. Mayor, and I know this because friends of mine were asked to sign. Friends of mine who support the stadium and were subsequently told off when that was the view that they were given. And what's even better, Mr. Mayor, is that they're from the city of Kingston. They weren't even from Stonington, yet they wanted their signatures anyway. So how much of this is really about Stonington residents, Mr. Mayor? I don't know. We've got the misinformation that's been distributed in countless leaflets over the last 2 years, many which have ended up in my letterbox, thank you very much, which are giving people false information about the project. The $45 million is just one of them. I've had people come to me to express their support anonymously because they fear persecution within their community. I've had this after ward meetings, after council meetings, over the phone, over email. It hasn't ended. And to top it all off, I've experienced harassment, Mr. Mayor. I've been told my political career should be destroyed, that I shouldn't be a community representative because I don't have children, and I've been called an array of profanities on social media. But guess what? None of this sways me from the core of this, which is that this is about women in sport. We need more indoor courts to support women. And no site is perfect. We acknowledge that. However, Percy Travai comes as close as we're going to get. The alternative is to do nothing. Now, Mr. Mayor, I finish with this. A vote in support of this proposal is a vote in support of sporting facilities for everyone in the community, and it's also a vote in support of our women and girls who undoubtedly need this investment now and into the future.
This is just a totally unilateral decision. I've been on the Audit Committee for some time. I feel that I'm very well qualified to remain on the Audit Committee, and it's part of having some continuity that one of those councillors would remain on the audit committee. It's disappointing when a unilateral decision is made, but I guess that's just the way it is here.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else to speak? Yes, Councillor Behaviour.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I too was slightly relieved when I saw the gala that I'd survived the Great Purge and was given the opportunity to be part of the Access Stonington Committee meetings, which meets tomorrow night. So I'll be very pleased to advise the committee that I managed to survive the changes. And I do, just as those going on to the committees via this yellow will do a great job. I commend and acknowledge those outgoing councillors. Councillor Davis has contributed amazingly to the Positive Ageing Committee and Councillor Griffin to the Audit Committee too, and Councillor Davis to the Audit Committee as well. So, it isn't. Sorry, no, I've been corrected in the run. But Councillor Davis was down to do the Positive Ageing Committee as a consequence of the discussion we had after this was deferred from the initial council meeting, and I've only just seen this in front of us here tonight. But I'm pleased to be on the Access Committee again, and hopefully there's no further changes to that.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'd just like to make a statement.
Certainly.
Just to
harassment, I equally have been harassed by the opposing team, and it is a very unpleasant experience, Jamie. Councillor Casares, I agree with you. I believe that the majority of people in this hall tonight value the vital importance of sport and residents' rights to protect their local area, and that's why I would have supported this alternative recommendation. I supported the original recommendation regarding this location with the amendment of ensuring the continuation of the Chadstone Bowls Club. I did so because I'm a firm believer in the benefit of sport and physical activity for people of all ages and genders. And as a schoolgirl, my passion was netball. However, since supporting that decision in October 2017, a number of issues have arisen which have caused me grave concerns. First and foremost, the entrenched and unwavering opposition of local residents. Despite an exhaustive consultation process, we have a petition, as Councillor Davis has said, with 2,799 names. Now, we cannot ignore that. Residents of East Melbourne are concerned about parking and traffic, which is already under pressure due to the very successful growing Chadstone Shopping Centre. The size and impact of Chadstone is demonstrated by the annual number of visitors, over 23 million a year. That figure is expected to increase to 30 million. And that shopping centre has less than 10,000 car parks. That puts a great deal of stress on local streets. Residents of the area see the proposed development, which is directly adjacent to the Chadstone Shopping Centre, as causing more stress on the livability of their area. They are also concerned about the fate of a currently charming local use sports and park location, and increased intensity and impacts on residential streets. Pleasant local reserves with mature trees are a scarce commodity in our space-deprived city. Residents in Stonington need their houses and streets protected by council, not negatively impacted by council. I add to the concerns of local residents and ratepayers my own. As the size and scope of the project has grown larger, so has the estimated cost, and we can argue about the edges of that all night. But it has exploded from 20 million to 36 million to now 45 million and still counting. In turn, due to this and other large capex projects, our council will go into significant debt, peaking at 44 million. Now, this compares with an average debt of 7 million each year over the last 10 years. This large increase in debt will place an unnecessary interest burden of $7 million on ratepayers over the next few years.